Well, good Wednesday morning, Southwest Louisiana. We're doing another Facebook Live on an update for tracking the tropics as we're continuing to track that area of disturbed weather that is in the southern Bay of Campeche, actually kind of borderline back on the coastline of Mexico this morning. Of course, there's a lot of uncertainty as to where exactly this is going to go, but of course, we're going to try to time things out for you and talk about it the best we can, but we're going to let some people join, give them just a few minutes. Hopefully, everybody's doing good on this Wednesday morning. Of course, it is a hot one already out there. Temperatures back into the middle 80s already for many locations, and it's going to be much warmer this afternoon. Not much in the way of rain chances today. That's good news. That's going to keep things on the drier side for us. However, we are definitely going to be tracking some heavier rain potentially as we head into the next couple of days. So let's just jump right into it and talk about what we are tracking. This is Tropical Wave or Invest 92L. Not much has changed with it. It is now stationary. You can see the area of low pressure that's basically right there on the beach in the southern Bay of Campeche on the Mexican coastline. Pressure sitting at 1,009 millibars. Gusts now up to 35 miles per hour. Our winds are sustained at 25 miles per hour, but once again, not moving. And you can see over the past couple of days, it originated there in the southern Bay of Campeche, kind of moved a little bit west, then back south, and then now is back along the coastline there. But most of the thunderstorm activity kind of off on the eastern side, still not a whole lot on the northern side of the storm, and especially the western side. It's going to be a very lopsided system if it is to form. And I will admit there's still quite a few questions as to what this system is going to do. You can see deep tropical moisture already across central portions of the Atlantic, but the National Hurricane, or the Gulf rather, but the National Hurricane Center is already giving it a 90% chance of development over the next 5 days and a 70% chance over the next 2. So here's the latest computer model runs. Notice you'll see a few of those. I know they're very hard to see. They're on the southern end, pushing it back into the Pacific. That's actually picking up on a system that's already beginning to form there towards the south. There's a separate chance of formation for the Pacific side, and there's a separate chance for us here on the Atlantic side, or in this case, it's the Gulf. But you can see where the spaghetti models plot the start of this system, and then they lift it back off towards the north. Now, once we get a couple of days out, that's where models kind of differ a little bit. You can see one kind of bringing it back across the eastern portions of Texas, just to the west of Beaumont. One bringing it a little bit further east, back over towards Vermilion Bay in that general vicinity. So definitely a wide range still of where this system could go. There's no cone of uncertainty. It's not a named storm yet, so we're definitely still waiting out to see what can happen. Now, this is just one particular model run. Don't take this as a whole. This one shows it coming onshore right around southwest Louisiana, bringing some of that heavier rainfall just off towards our east. That would be a great scenario for us. Sure, we'll still see some showers and storms. However, the heaviest of rainfall is going to be back off towards the east. This will continue to race off towards the north, and by the time we reach Sunday, we're beginning to dry things out. There'll be a few scattered showers and storms around, but the bulk of the tropical moisture will be moving away off towards the east. Now, high pressure will be building in, and that'll keep us a little bit drier for our Monday before our next cold front begins to arrive. This is separate from that system, and that does look to bring us a good chance of scattered showers and storms as we head into the middle part of next week. So here's the latest in terms of the computer models. Notice neither one of them really developed a strong system. They do begin to close it off as we head into Friday and Saturday. You can see Saturday morning in fairly good agreement. The Euro is the red, remember. The blue is the American model. So pretty good agreement that yes, somewhere near southwest Louisiana along the Louisiana coastline back across portions of Texas, that's where we could be looking at a potential system moving on shore. Whether it's a tropical depression, tropical storm, that's something that we'll have to wait to see how it plays out. Models not doing a great job on the intensity. Most of the global models, in fact, are kind of ramping this thing up, getting a little bit stronger in terms of a tropical storm or depression, whereas the hurricane model is what we look at, not quite as bullish on that. But they lift off pretty quickly. There it is Sunday at 10 o'clock. Pretty much right over southwest Louisiana or somewhere along the Louisiana coastline. So that's something that we'll continue to track, of course, and then it begins to race off towards the north and the east. So here's one particular model run. We talked about this yesterday, the GFS version or the American model. Here it is Friday at 10 o'clock, still painting the bullseye back off towards our east, which would kind of line up with the latest in the computer model runs from earlier that I just showed you as that storm came on shore right around the southwest Louisiana portion of Louisiana, of course, and then you'll see those heavier totals well off towards the north. This is by Sunday around 1 o'clock. Notice not a whole lot. Now, I think it is a little bit overdone in terms of the rainfall, at least for us. Now, if this storm does indeed push a little bit further to the east and we stay on this western side, whole lot better case scenario for us, but I still think we're looking at a generalized couple of inches, and don't take these numbers for granted. Don't look at them and say, oh, okay, Opelousas is only getting 9/10 of an inch. That's not how it's going to play out. Lake Charles, 1/10 of an inch. We could see more. We may see less, just depending on how this tracks. But even expanding it back into the Monday afternoon, you see a little bit more in the way of rainfall, 1/2 inch to an inch across much of the area, with more expected as we head into next week. But that's just from the potential tropical system that we could be seeing. Now, of course, here's another run, the European model. This shows the bullseye still well off towards the east. That would be best case scenario for us here. Now, for our friends off to the east, not as much. You see Port Fourchon already recording 7 inches of rain by the time we reach Friday, with that bullseye still well off towards the east. So they're in decent agreement in terms of where the heaviest rainfall may fall, and that is off to our east. But still, another 1/2 inch or so of rain still could be a possibility. And if this does push in a little bit further to the west, back along the Texas coastline, then we could be looking at several inches of rain pushed back our way as well. So that's why the answer to the question in the short term of, well, are we going to get hit and see big effects? We're not sure yet, because the system hasn't fully developed. The models, we're not sure which one is picking up on it correctly at this particular point in time. Now, the GFS and the Euro, as I mentioned, is continuing to indicate the fact that we are going to see something try to develop. Maybe it just be a low pressure system, but deep tropical moisture definitely likely. Now, rain likely Friday through the Sunday time frame, and likely into next week as well. Now, not necessarily from this tropical system, but from a cold front that'll be pushing in. Flooding is our biggest concern. Wind really not going to be the issue. That's what we've been stressing over the last couple of days. This isn't going to be a wind event. This is going to be a rain event where some areas could see 5 to 10 inches of rain. So that's where the flooding is going to be the biggest problem. Of course, monitor the forecast closely through the end of the week. Hopefully we'll have more finite details as we head through the Thursday time frame. And right now, that looks to be the earliest that we may find out, because the National Hurricane Center isn't expecting it to really get its act together until late Thursday or into the day on Friday. So it's going to be kind of a quick hit where we begin to see really how this unfolds. Now, unknown scenarios or issues, will this develop at all? Are we going to see a tropical system, a depression, a storm? That's something that only time will tell. The track will be irrelevant, though. The worst of the weather will definitely be east of the center of circulation. So even if the center comes up through southwest Louisiana, that rain's going to be dispersed hundreds of miles off towards the east, probably about 100 miles or so. And that's why we're saying the heavy rain could fall anywhere from the Texas coastline all the way to the Alabama coastline as it is spread off to the east. Now, where will the heavy rain bands set up? That's something we'll have to watch play out as well. Where that does happen, that's where we are looking to see that 5 to 10 inch totals potentially around. So will we feel impacts to southwest Louisiana? Well, right now, that's still remaining a question that we're going to have to watch closely. Now, here's a look at the tropics as a whole. Go ahead and give you a quick update on that. A 90% chance of development over the next 5 days. So, National Hurricane Center pretty confident that something is going to try to form here. You can see a much better organized area of convection back across the Pacific. That's going to be no concern to us. That's going to continue to work its way off towards the north and west with time. A quiet Atlantic bill's now gone, and that tropical wave we were tracking not having any shot of formation over the next 5 days. Now, of course, now's the perfect time. The Hurricane Preparedness Guide, as well as our tracking charts, you can pick those up at all lake area Popeyes, of course. And it's going to be a warm stretch of weather ahead. You can see lower rain chances at least through Thursday. Now, rain chances are increasing for Friday as well as Saturday as confidence continues to grow that, yes, we will indeed see some kind of tropical moisture regardless of what we are going to see, if it's a named storm or not. And then we'll finally begin to see just our scattered storms returning into next week. Now, for those who may just be joining, I'm going to go ahead and step off screen. We'll kind of talk about what we're tracking now in terms of the latest on the Invest. That way we can talk about what we are seeing. So if you're just joining us, good Wednesday morning. We're just doing a quick update on the tropics. Here is the latest on the tropical wave, or Invest 92L. Definitely not looking as intense or robust. You saw a blow up of those showers and storms as we went through the pre-dawn hours, and that's typical with these systems, but you can definitely see a little bit of thunderstorm activity off towards the south of the center as well as the east, but not a whole lot going on to the north or the south. And some of that deeper tropical moisture that we saw yesterday now well displaced back across portions of the Gulf. So this is what's going to be lifting off towards the north with time, eventually going to give us some rain chances as we head Friday into the Saturday time frame. And I'll show the models once again. And then once again, this is as of the 7 o'clock advisory. The next one will not come down until 1 o'clock this afternoon. So we still have a couple hours to go through before we get to there. But our winds sitting at 25 miles per hour, gusts to 35. Right now it's stationary. It's not moving anywhere. You can see basically over the last little bit, it really hasn't gone anywhere. And as it lifts off towards north, as most models do show, we could have some potential impacts to southwest Louisiana. As to what impacts we see, that's still something that we're going to have to watch very closely. I'll show you one of those model runs. This is the GFS, or the American model. It shows you that low lifting up towards the north, and here it is by Saturday morning, basically coming onshore somewhere near southwest Louisiana. Granted, this could be well off to the east displaced. This could be back off towards the west. This is just one model run, and we've been saying all week long, don't get caught up in the one model run because it's going to change from now until the next time. So just be prepared anywhere along the Gulf Coast from, say, the Alabama border back off towards the west into Texas. We could be preparing for some heavy rainfall. And you can see it's well on the eastern side. If you look back towards the west of the center, not a whole lot going on. So if you lived in Houston with this case scenario, probably not going to see a whole lot of rain at all. Yeah, some showers and storms, but definitely not that heavy rainfall. This lifts back off towards the north. We'll see a few showers and storms in the mix as we head over the next couple of days. And then, of course, that cold front will be pushing in. Not really going to bring us a drop in temperatures, but I do want to show you the model runs once again. This is just comparing the American and the Euro. This doesn't take into account any of the other models. It does show a closed off system, although be it weak, that's what these larger circles mean. If it was more concentric in a smaller circle, that would indicate a stronger storm we could be tracking. That's not going to be the case here. Conditions just aren't favorable across the Gulf. We got a lot of wind shear that's going to tear down the western side of this storm. That's why most of the rain will be well off towards the east as we go forward in time, but definitely something that could be along the Texas coastline back across Louisiana. Not so much, at least with the latest model runs, back across to the east. So this is the area that we're going to watch for potential development over the next little bit. Then it begins to lift off. There it is, though, Saturday 10 o'clock, basically right over the area. So it's going to be a soggy start to the weekend. Even our Sunday going to be looking to be on the wetter side. This is just one of those rainfall amounts that we could be looking at as we step forward in time. The bullseye well east, so this is taken into account if the center came over in this general area. So notice that we're not dealing with a whole lot of rainfall where that center moves over, maybe a ½ inch to an inch, but some of these areas over towards New Orleans, Slidell, Hattiesburg, Demopolis, back towards Alabama, 4 or 5 inches, maybe upwards of 10 in some locations. So that's something we'll definitely keep a very close eye on, of course, for you. This is just one model run. We're not going to put all our eggs in one particular basket per se, but this is definitely something that we're going to continue to watch very closely over the course of the next couple of days. Hopefully we get better idea of where this system will go as we head into Thursday, as this system begins to organize. And if it doesn't organize, well then we're just going to be looking at the potential for some heavy rainfall. The question is, where does that move through? Only time will tell, especially Thursday into Friday. We'll get a really good handle on this. You'll just need to make sure to stay tuned to the 7 Storm Team. Of course, we'll continue to keep you updated with the latest on the forecast. But for now, that's the way things are shaping up. We'll continue to monitor this. I'll be back on 7 News at noon, and we'll take another look at the forecast. But today, going to be a hot one once again. Low rain chances, not really looking at a whole lot in the way of shower or storms to help cool us down. But once again, we'll continue to keep a very close eye on the forecast and alert you on the tropics. I'll have the latest coming up on 7 News at noon. For now, enjoy your Wednesday and stay cool out there.